and the way I intended to do it was not the way God led me. So my prayer is that I accomplish what's pleasing to God, as well as the vision of Reverend Daniel. The scripture of Psalms 27:14 says, "Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord." Have you ever thought and prayed about something that needs to be done? Something that's important, but you stay in prayer asking God if it be his will to make it possible. Since the last City of Waterloo election, I have not been at ease with several of the things that took place. And I'm sure many of you noticed the bold and out front racist actions of some during that election. Most vexing to me was how Margaret Klein, as well as the Political Action Committee, Cedar Valley Backs the Blue, targeted Mayor Hart with billboards and mailers. But as my mama would say, God don't like ugly and ain't crazy about pretty. The Waterloo Courier reported in that election, Hart garnered 7,786 votes, or 58.1% of the total votes in that election. That's the highest turnout for a city election since 2005. And as excited and proud as I am that Mayor Hart, the first black mayor for the city of Waterloo, won his fourth term election, I'm still troubled, because while African Americans have held steadfast with local elections, we're losing ground on the state and national level. The media continues talking about critical race theory. And on June 8th, Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds signed a bill into law that will prohibit teaching of critical race theory in K through 12, higher education, and in high school and mandatory universities. There's lawmakers in Tennessee and other states that have followed suit. The nation is even causing some schools and districts to consider eliminating celebrating Black History Month. In the coming months, the Supreme Court will once again hear cases regarding affirmative action that could end race-based admissions for our colleges and universities. Affirmative action was a key factor for many, including myself, being hired into a position at UNI where I was overly qualified but yet overlooked. Zora Neale Hurston says, if you are silent about your pain, they'll kill you and say you enjoyed it. Recently, I thought about Bernice Richards' story of living in Arkansas and how her parents were involved in the civil rights activities, and how as a child she knew the dangers that her dad faced by standing up for what was right as well as what he believed in. I've thought about the headlines with the death of 17-year-old Trayvon Martin and 46-year-old George Floyd, and about the many, many others that died before them and after them that were not mentioned in the news. I remembered how my older brother's friend, Eddie Salas, who died in the Waterloo jail cell in 1966. Those who investigated said his death was a suicide, but the community believed he was murdered. Eddie's death fueled the community and individuals who stepped up as community leaders. Anna Mae Weems, Ada Treadwell, Mary Burdell, Jimmy Porter, Willie Mae Wright, Harris Caesar, B.J. Ferguson, Dr. Ruth Anderson, Denman Phillips, Art Carter, Dorothy Turner, Sammy Dale, Ace Red, Chauncey Carr, and Jill Harrington, to only name a few. And yet, throughout this community, the most prominent leaders were Black pastors. Reverend L.J. Jordan, Reverend Eugene Williams, Reverend T.F. Thomas, Reverend Robert Burt, Reverend George Moore, and Reverend A.E. Mills, because from their pulpit on Sunday morning, they proclaim the same message that we received at home. John 9:4 says, I must work while the works of him who sent me, while it is day. The night is coming when no one can work. When Pastor Daniel reached out to me a few weeks ago about his Resurrect the Vote vision, his phone call was an answer to my prayers, because God had placed Pastor Daniel and confirmed with Reverend Whitfield that we can no longer sit by and trust our welfare to others. Church, we now have 2 young black pastors in this community who are willing to take the baton. And as much as the black pastors in our community was instrumental in the outcome of the last election, God has given Pastor Daniel a larger vision for the needs of his people. The vision to register more voters. The vision to teach them that every vote is important and will count. The vision to know that we can't sit by and wait for people to go down to the courthouse and register to vote. We need to reach out to them and provide the registration. I'm thankful and I'm excited about Resurrect the Vote. That vision with the partnership with Mount Carmel. This first project of the vision is that we need to raise $2,000 in each church to purchase gift cards as an incentive for individuals who come out and register. That date is Saturday, April 16th, from 10 a.m. to 12 noon at Mount Carmel. Another aspect of this will be to make sure that individuals who are convicted felons know what their rights are, and that we aid and assist them with accurate information so they can get their vote back. And some of you may say, well, Sister Cooper, why we have to entice people to come out and register to vote? And my answer to you is very simple. I take the stance of Malcolm X. We're going to do what we need to do by any means necessary. This vision will work because it's a collective project, and what we need you to do as a member is to give $10. At the deacon meeting yesterday, I had said, and so did some of the other deacons, that we were going to give more in honor of our parents, the ones who came from the South and know what they went through in the South. And yet with meager resources, they made sure that we have a better life. Many of you know if we don't get involved, the efforts gained from the civil rights movement will be snatched from not only us, but from our children and our grandchildren. And too many fought for our freedom, and shame on us if we lose it. Edmund Burke says those who don't know their history are doomed to repeat it. One of the things I found on the internet this week that I shared with the deacons yesterday was the Louisiana's 1964 literacy test that was given to blacks. And the test was 30 questions, and y'all could only miss one. And this is one of the things that we had to go through to be able to vote. We cannot afford to let Resurrect the Vote, the vision of our pastor, not be successful. If you look at a tree, our tree is built on connection, impact, and growth. But if that tree does not have branches, you begin to wonder what's wrong. So we have Vision to Victory as a branch to our tree, and now we have Resurrect the Vote. We have to get up, we have to get busy. I remember on Saturday mornings, my dad would have us up by 8 o'clock telling us to get up and get moving. You can sleep too much. And one of his lines was, nothing comes to a sleeper but a dream. We got to stop dreaming about what needs to be done There's a saying that says, if you snooze, you lose. If we do not step up, stand tall on the shoulders of all of those from every southern state especially, who were penalized just because of their skin color, we can no longer stand by and say, I've made it. I've got my house, I've got my car, got my kids in college, got my retirement. That's not enough. Because if you watch the news, you can rest assured there is a plot not only in Iowa, but throughout this country to take things away that as a citizen, a breathing person, we rightly deserve. I'm going to end this with the media ministry. In 1975, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes had a song, and the song was Wake Up Everybody. Through the week, play that. I know we have access to media where we can, but the song talks about we need to wake up. We need to take the blinders off, follow leadership, God-led leadership to make not just Waterloo, but the world a better place. Thank you.